Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today, I want to cover the patch notes for 3.14 Ultimatum League, and I think these are the longest patch notes that I have ever witnessed. I don't know, like, it's a never-ending story, a never-ending wall of text. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, almost every possible... Like, holy shit, how long is this list? I know it's long, but it's actually ridiculous. But hey, I went through all of that, and I decided to make like a kind of a TLDR list. So I just wrote down the things that are important for myself or for you guys probably. I skipped a lot of the stuff just because I think most of them are just like numeric changes or some stuff that we already know just from the past couple of days, the informations that we got, the balance manifesto and so on. And yeah, here we are, and before I'm gonna go over these patch notes, I just want to say I have a weird feeling now. Like, I remember 2 or 3 days ago, I was like so freaking hyped about the new league. I'm still hyped. I love league starts, right? But this league is going to be different. For example, this will probably not be accurate for like probably 95% of the player base, but for those people that are actually playing a lot and farming a lot, right? And streamers, for example, or other people that just play this game like fucking 15 hours a day, what happened to the end game? That's like a big question mark. For me personally, the end game was like either 100% delirious maps or like deep delving or like boss farming, crafting. I think like everything is gone, right? The 100% delirious maps are still there, but they're not going to be as good as they were because I don't think that people are going to invest like 20 exalts per map because that's not what you're going to get out of it, right? So I think like the prices of like scarabs, delirium orbs and stuff will like super heavily rise. You're going to make your map and you're going to probably split it or fracture it once. But you're going to invest the least amount possible because, yeah, these maps are profitable, but not if you have to invest 20x per map to make them good, right? So that's a big question mark there. The same thing with the change of fractured maps. Like, yeah, of course you can run 100% delirious maps, and of course you can run, like, go deep delve, right? But the question is there any profit to be made, right? And it is like a big question mark. The same as changes on the crafting, right? Since harvest crafting got removed, I think there will be a lot less Maven orb crafting stuff, trying to really get good items like triple or quadra Maven items. So I think like 100% delirium falls off, deep delving falls off, crafting for like real endgame item falls off. It just like I don't know what I'm going to do in the end game. Like, let's assume we are 1 month into the league, we gathered like, I don't know, like 100, 150, 200 exalts. We have like super end game gear or items and builds. What are we gonna do with that? So that's actually the point where I'm saying like big question mark. This league is just going to be different. Anyways, this is just my current thoughts. We're like 2 days away from league start. Today's Wednesday, so yeah. Okay, never mind. Let's go over the patch notes. If you have any opinion about that, what I just said, then please let me know in the comments below. Good. Ultimatum patch notes, my take on a TLDR kind of version. So, the Ultimate Challenge League, yeah, we're gonna have a new league, challenge league, like every league. We're gonna have 40 challenges, the usual stuff. Major new content and features, added the new blood-themed skills, as we talked about, Exsanguinate, Petrified Blood, Reap, and so on. But we also covered that in the Ultimatum info video. Then we have minor content and features, new catalysts, scarabs, and incubators that is like featuring, what was it, like Abyss, it was like Ritual League, I think Harvest, Blight, something like that. And we have new 5 new Saxon modifiers, which also covers Blight, Delirium, Harvest, Heist, and Ritual League. Atlas and map changes. Conquerors can now be spawned with map fragments, so once you have like your Citadel spawned, you can talk to Sana, right, and be like, yo, I want to go to Al-Hetzmin's Citadel or whatever, and it just opens a blank map, more or less, right? It's not really worth farming those maps, just go in, kill the boss, and have one more progress towards Saurus, right? This time around, it will be some kind of map item. So as soon as you click on the Sana dialog, then she will open the map device for you, and there will be the boss as a map item. You can put in like sacrifice fragments, scarabs, and whatever. So you can boost those bosses as well. And we have 50% less synthesized map options when offering missions from Sana. Then we have the ritual changes. Ritual is now core, and there's also new ritual-based Atlas kill points, sex and modifiers. If you say like, yo, ritual was the best thing ever, I want to farm that, you will have the option to do so. Harvest changes, yeah. I think there is a lot of info out there. Basically, if you never heard about that, Harvest gets changed, yeah, it will get nerfed, or better said, I would say nuked. So a lot of deterministic crafting options got removed. So other league changes. So as you maybe know from the trailer, we have like almost every single league changed from the past and get their rewards balanced and updated and buffed, basically. So it's going to be a lot more profitable to do those league mechanics. So Abyss changes. We added Abyss Scarabs, buffed the value of Abyss Jewels, which also use the well-rolled mod system, which means like there is less dropping, I think, but it's just going to be the best out of the drops that happened before. So let's say there would be like 20 drops, right? And there is only 2 or 3 good items. Now it will be only like 3 items drop, but it will include the good, well-rolled mod system. So the stuff that you find will be overall better, right? And even if it's crap, think about if there would be 30 items dropped, they all would be worse than what you just found. Blight map changes, this is like important. Corrupted blighted maps can now drop tainted oils, this is for anointing the corrupted items. And then they added blight scarabs, and the blight modifiers will now apply to rewards at 20% of that of the total value. So now it's basically worth going to craft your maps like you would do on your endgame maps, whatever, like scarabs and like sacrificial fragments and stuff like that to just boost the quantity and rarity of blighted maps, and then have a profit out of that and not just run them white, and that's about it. Betrayal changes, buffed Veiled mods. Veiled mods no longer count as crafted and will be superior than crafted modifiers. This is very interesting, especially now with the new Chaos Orbs that will actually add the Veiled mod. And then buffed Betrayal reward system with an extra tier to make killing Katarina worth more, or basically worth more than before. I personally like, I did spend quite a lot of time with Betrayal and Syndicate in the past league, and I actually learned how the system works and how you manipulate to just spawn Vorisi white sockets over and over again. And if you want to set this one up, that takes quite a while, like, I don't know, 30, 40 maps with pure Yun missions to get your Betrayal board correct, right? Why should you wipe it, you know? It has to be that they added a new tier, right? A tier 4 once you have like Katarina opened, right? And those things have to be like so superior that you would say like, yo, I'm gonna wipe the board just because I want to have access to these tier 4 mods, right? If this is going to be, we don't know yet. Then bestiary changes, added 2 new beast crafting recipes. The split limitation that we talked about is... that added a split tag once you like copy or split the base. This will also happen with fractured fossils and other sources, so no more duping, which I kind of like. Then party farming, if you're party farming with beasts and like Einhar missions, then you have to be within 250 unit radius, which is about 2 screens to actually capture the beast as well when somebody else kills it. Then the breach changes, blessings can now upgrade breach stones by 1 tier. So if you have 4 blessings, you can make a normal breach stone to a pure breach stone, so that's actually really good. Then delirium changes, cluster jewels get nerfed, a couple of those that are attacked with AoE, projectile speed, skill effect duration, and aura effect, so another aura stacker nerf. Quantity and rarity of fog monsters are lowered. Then Delve changes, buff rewards in lower Delve, fractured fossils now apply the split tag, same as the bestiary that I just talked about. Then essence changes, there's various essence changes that have been rebalanced. I'm gonna cover a couple of those further down the list. Then heist changes, heist rogues level requirement has been reduced, so they just level faster. Incursion changes, you now can, if you have a temple ready to run, you can either run it or convert it into a tradable object that you can then sell on the PoE trade and stuff, which I really, really like. Then Legion changes, a couple changes, nothing to talk about. Metamorph changes, they added 3 new catalysts, which is the Accelerating Catalyst with speed modifiers, Noxious Catalyst for Fizz and Chaos mods, and the Unstable Catalyst for crit modifiers. Perandus changes, vendors will no longer offer any scroll fragments in exchange for Perandus coins. Synthesis changes, fractured items got their visual effect removed. Talisman changes, removed well-rolled mod system. I didn't even know that's in the game for talismans because they're off my loot filter since I don't know, like forever, I guess. Labyrinth changes, this is kind of nice. Offerings, if you put them in the map device, you get a random trial. Then Divine Fonts, you can now choose out of like 3 options, so it's going to be a lot easier. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's going to be easier to get the right enchant on your right item, especially when it comes to like Solo Cellphone and stuff, so you really have a chance now to get like something good on your helmet. Then character balance, low life threshold is now 50%, reservation stuff got improved, leech adjustment based on what source you're leeching, which basically means if you have sources where you say like, yo, you're gonna leech life, and if your life is full, you're gonna leech energy shield instead, then your life leech will only affect the life. Like, let's say you have, I don't know, like Vial Pact, and you double your life leech, right? This double will only apply to the life part, but as soon as you're full life and you start leeching energy shield, this double bot is gone just because it only counts for life. So it's basically source-based leeching. Corrupted Blood got updated, it's now maximum 10 stacks, and the character size is now capped at 100%, which is insane or really good for Headhunter builds, because we all know that whether it's self-course or not, if you get the right amount of buffs, you're just bigger than your screen, and I'm looking forward to that change, so it's not like too visual that you're like bigger than the Atlas, more or less, right? Skill balance, buffed skills, Anger and Bladestorm, while Bladestorm only got like a bleed modifier in Blood Stance or something, but I still count it as a buff. Nerfed, Blade Blast, Blade Vortex, Flesh and Stone, General's Cry, Seismic Cry, Toxic Rain, Vigilant Strike, Vitality and Frost Bomb, and adjusted Punishment, Spellslinger, Wave of Conviction, where I gotta say Frost Bomb has Frost Bomb and Wave of Conviction has their exposure lowered, but Wave of Conviction, that's why I wrote it not on the nerfed, I wrote it on the adjusted, because Wave of Conviction now deals more damage as far as I've seen. Vial skill balance, like almost every single Vial skill got balanced in terms of less soul gain prevention, as well as like damage adjustments and less damage or less souls required to use that skill. And the most important thing here, Vial Arc soul gain prevention of 2 seconds instead of 6 seconds. So big question mark, can we actually modify that to bring back the good old Vial Arc version Pathfinder? Like, that will be so insane, and definitely gonna try this one out. I'm like, the problem with the Flask challenges like 2-3 leagues ago, where they just killed all of these permanently or perma-Vial builds, is because you couldn't get the soul gain prevention lower, but now they changed it from 2 seconds to like from 6 seconds to 2 seconds from Vial Arc, which means that we might be able to get it down to like 0.1 seconds to be able to permanently sustain it. We need to try that at a later of the stage. It's not going to be a league starter. And Vial Righteous Fire got nerfed in terms of like you get less spell damage once Vial Ref is active. I think also for the normal Righteous Fire. Well, it's just like you got too much power by just adding Vial Righteous Fire to any kind of spellcaster. Support gem balance, Brutality support now supports any skill that deals damage. So not only like the attack hits, it's also going to count for the physical damage over time from the new blood skills like Exsanguinate, where a half is your damage like on hit, the rest is like physical damage over time. So the Brutality support now will buff both of those, so I think Brutality is going to be a mandatory support for any kind of new bleed skill if you play them on Pure Fizz. Then we have passive tree balance. Couple bleed nodes got changed to Fizz Dot just because of the new skills, because the damage over time, the physical damage over time from Exsanguinate, Reap and stuff, it's not bleeding, okay? Born to Fight is no longer melee restricted. Chainbreaker on hit rage loss got changed to rage cost on cast that we already covered. Corrupted Soul got nerfed from 20 to... Corrupted Soul, yeah, the keystone that gives you life as extra energy shield, got nerfed from 20% to 15%. Hardened Scars will now only be active while you're recovering life from a life flask, not while it's just active. And Versatile Stance now grants mana reservation for stance skills, because they also buff the mana reservation value from Flesh and Stone. Then we have Atlas passive balance. Buffed weak Atlas passive skills, tree nodes, and nerfed over rewarding ones. This is something we covered as well in the game balance manifesto, I think, or in one of the previous videos. It's just a big list with all the kind of nodes that got like adjusted in the value. So if you're interested in that, then I would say please check out the patch notes and search for the detailed ones. Then Ascendancy balance, the Gladiator, this is something I was looking for. The bleed modifiers, like usually Gladiator gave you a bunch of like bleed damage, more bleed damage, got now changed to physical damage over time, which still counts for bleed, but also now for Exsanguinate, for example. Berserker got the minor nodes changed to increase physical damage instead of attack physical damage. Then Pain Reaver has been replaced by Defiant Pain, which is like Defiant stacks where you get more armor and more leech. But at 10 stacks, I think you lose all of them and stuff like that. Then Flawless Savagery, crit applies now to both attacks and spells as well as the added physical modifiers. Then we have the Assassin change, Ambush and Assassinate got a nerf, obviously because this is like more damage when the enemy is low life, since the low life threshold got changed from 35 to 50%. It would be hilarious to not change Ambush and Assassinate, right? Elementalist got the Primal Aegis a little bit nerfed. Necromancer, the mana regen from the Essence Glutton, and Pathfinder, the Master Surgeon, that usually removed Bleed on use, now removes Corrupted Blood. Then item balance, Exploding Mod got changed. This is like a weird thing here, right? We said we don't know how hard this will hit, right? Because we need to know how much percent they are going to explode. Is it like 10% chance that they explode? Is it 50%? Because it's not 100% anymore, right? But in the patch notes, it's still not listed. It's just a percentage amount and it doesn't say any value. So we have to wait. I just know that there is multiple tiers as far as I know. And then we have Quivers, got their crit mods and other mods changed with bows, so they are not best in slot anymore for caster builds. Hunter Influence, this is important, change dot multi to dot multi with attacks. So I guess no more chaos dot multi for your Essence Drain character on your gloves or maybe on the amulet and stuff, because this is now applied to attacks, which is kind of, yeah, a nerf towards chaos dot builds. Then plus chain on the quiver got changed to arrows chain to not manipulate like arc, for example. Remove the 60% chance to deal 100% more damage with poison and bleedings to local modifiers. Then the poison sextant got removed, as we know already, and watchstones without sextant modifiers can be imprinted again. Then essence balance, there is like almost every essence got like value changes. But the Essence of Dread, for example, gives you an effect of Impale instead of weapon range. And what I think is cool, Essence of Hysteria, Socketed Gems deal 30% more damage when on low life. So this is something that's going to be, get interesting once we're playing with the new skills, or at least with the Petrified Blood. Then Abyss Jewels, they sorted out like a lot of these new tier 1 mods, right? But accuracy is missing, but I seen accuracy in a higher value on the screenshots, but it's missing in the patch notes. So big question mark, is this a stealth nerf to the accuracy stacking? We don't know, maybe they just forgot it, or they removed it, we don't know. Cluster Jewel balance, as I stated before, nerfed AoE, projectile speed, aura effect, and skill effect duration, and added new blood skill themed cluster mods where you get like fizz damage over time and on-hit damage. Oil changes. Some of the blighted map anointments got adjusted, which is kind of obvious. There is new ones, and they rebalanced, let's say, because usually if you're a blight map farmer, you just throw them in white and just run them because you're only interested in the boxes in the end, in the loot caches. Now, since the quantity and stuff will get adjusted, or at least like available for when you run those maps to the chest, they also like adjusted the anointments that you can put on the map, for example, teal oils. Then we have a crafted veiled modifier balance. Some of them I listed. Chance to avoid elemental ailments is not 35% anymore at the max roll. And this is important because you always like try to get 100% ailment immune, right? So you had like gloves 25, you had the helmet 25, I think. And then you had like cluster jewels that helped you. But now, since this value got changed by like 5%, you might be able to, with your normal source of saying like, okay, my character has 100% with this, and this, that you might miss 5% over here, but I think the 35% was only available on the chest, and usually you use the gloves and the boots and the helmet for the ailment avoidance, or now even with a Maven mod on the boots for 50%, so just keep that in mind. The non-channeling skills have been nerfed, so no more one craft Cyclone is for free, more or less. Well, it's now -7, -6 total mana cost. The thing is, I do think, since this is not stated, this is just non-channeling skills, but hey, the value is lowered, but I think since they don't state the channeling skills, I guess it's still -3, so we should be fine on that part, but it's still less, so that kind of sucks. And what I saw, trigger socketed spells when you use a skill with an 8 seconds cooldown now, it was 4 seconds. This is like a big nerf, actually. Then unique item balance, many unique items that were league specific added to the core drop pool, such as Headhunter, for example, and buffed Death Oath damage, very important. Then Coward's Chains I saw now cause you to count as full life while you're cursed with vulnerability. I think the Coward's Legacy was the low life belt, and the Coward's Chain is now a full life belt. So this is kind of interesting. If you're unaffected by vulnerability, you could just throw in a damage on full life support, for example, even if you're not on full life because you count as full life. Then Dance of the Offered now grants Agnostic. These were like some boots that you lost mana per second. They removed that and now gave you Agnostic. Then we have like monster changes, final act bosses, loot got buffed. I think that will also apply to the map bosses if it's an act boss, for example a Kitava, right? Allies Cannot Die has been removed. This is like really good for like Essence Drain, because this could fuck you over pretty hard. Nerf the Saurus rare spawns. Like, this is really good because when you encounter Saurus on a normal map, these boys, like the rares, they kill you, man. They are actually super hard. And then we have Sana League modifiers available during 3.14, Essence, Breach, Bloodlines, Ambush, Harbinger, Heist, and Harvest. There is no Beyond, which sucks. There is no Delirium, which sucks. There is no Legion, which sucks. There is no Nemesis. Wait, Nemesis doesn't really matter too much because you can now chance an Ancient Orb Headhunter in your hideout, so that's not league restricted anymore in that regard. But hey, it kind of sucks. Harvest got nerfed. Heist, who wants to run contracts? I mean, not me. RB, maybe if you farm Hamlet or like Valdo's Rest, but I think they nerfed the Harbingers as well. The rest, like, I'm not sure. I don't see anything interesting there. And then there is like user interface, trade website changes, quest rewards, PvP changes, and bug fixes. Like, a big list, and we're never gonna see any of that actually like being relevant to our playstyle. I think there's a lot of quality of life changes though, but not something worth mentioning. Yeah, that's about the patch notes. As I say again, this league is going to be interesting, and I personally still don't know what I'm going to league start, since the if you remember the video that I posted a couple days ago about my potential league starter, which was a Pathfinder, Agnostic, Mind Over Matter, Low Life, and stuff like that, is pretty much off the table because of recent changes and nerfs that weren't there when I made the video. I think super safe would be a Bleed character, even though they nerfed the Bleed modifier, but we still get now Corrupted Blood, so I think Bleed Bow is pretty good. Essence Drain Contagion, completely unchanged. I still think that Blade Vortex Poison is still top notch, as well as Blade Blast, Blade Fall, because they're like super strong in the past. So yeah, they got nerfed, but I still think they're still going to be like really good stuff. But I still gonna make up my mind, and then I'm gonna post a video about my league start, the final decision, on Friday before league start. Good. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and let me know in the comments what you think about those patch notes. See you in the next video.